So hello everybody, today we're talking about a very special subject which is something I'm particularly interested in, and that is because I'm a violist nowadays. I started off as a violinist, but now I turned into a violist, and so viola bows are, to no big surprise, one of my favorite subjects over the last couple of years. And by becoming a violist, I discovered some very interesting things about the viola and viola bows in particular that I haven't seen discussed anywhere. And it all begins with a very big question, and that's the question of size. Every violist runs into this topic sooner or later. Shall you play a smaller or a larger instrument? Both has advantages. So, to begin with, in case you're not a violist, you will probably not know how difficult it is to play the viola. So compared to the violin, the fingers are spaced wider and the strings respond a lot slower. So you need to be particularly clear in all your right hand actions, and often playing with slower bow speeds with higher pressure. You need to be very careful so that viola produces a very nice sound. Now the question with smaller and bigger violas, obviously a smaller viola is more easy to play, it's more easy to hold, more comfortable to play with, but it has a pretty serious downside, and that is its sound can be a little squeaky, more alto than tenor, which we really like in a viola. And that of course is addressed with a bigger size, so a bigger viola will in pretty much any case deliver a warmer, deeper sound, more masculine sound, and be easier on the strings, but I come to that. But of course it's less comfortable to hold. Now luckily I'm somewhat tall and have long fingers. For me it's more easy to handle than for others. Okay, but what about bows? The thing is, there is a very important difference related to bows, and that is string length. So the body length has very little to do with the selection of bows, but string length does. So to begin with, I have two violas here. One is a 15.5 inch, 39 centimeter smaller viola, and the other one is a taller one with 42 centimeter body length, which would be 16.5 inch roughly. And now if we compare string length, like I hold them so that the bridges touch, and you can see here in this place that of course the smaller viola has also a shorter string length. With these two examples here, we're talking about 36 and 38 centimeter string length respectively. So it's about 37 centimeters for viola, which is what string makers usually make the strings for. But in reality, we have a lot of shorter and longer string length. That is particular in the viola, so you don't have that on a cello or on a violin. The difference in string length on those instruments is minimal. A little more on the bass, but also in percentage is relatively little. So what does that do? It changes two fundamental aspects in the physics of how the string vibrates. To begin with, when we tune the same string, so it has the same thickness, the same weight, to the same tuning, the same note, which we have to do when we play in an orchestra, the tension is quite different. This means, like, the tension on a smaller string is significantly lower than the tension the same string on a longer instrument. And with these two string lengths, I just made a quick calculation. It's about 6 or 7% difference in the string tension. that doesn't sound too much, but you can feel that. It makes quite a difference in the way the string handles, especially when it comes down to the C string. And there's another effect, that the longer string will have a stronger amplitude, which means the string swings to the right and left further out on a bigger instrument than on a smaller instrument. And that again requires, for the higher amplitude, it requires more downforce to control the string. So everything points toward that we need a different bow for a taller instrument than for a smaller instrument. So let's start with a smaller instrument. And for this viola, this 93 15.5-inch instrument, we have developed a bow, a series of bows we call the ARCUS M series, and they work really, really well with a smaller instrument because they do two things. One is the tension of the stick or the resiliency of the stick is matched to the tension of the strings, and it's designed to have an especially warm sound. That's the thing about the smaller body of a smaller viola. It tends to be a little bright in sound. I have here, for example, let's start with this wooden bow that I have here, and you can easily tell that the sound is a little, for my taste at least, on the bright side. It's more a female voice. I have nothing against female voices, but for me, a viola should be a tenor, a male voice, and this doesn't sound quite right to me. Now let's try this M bow. This is more balanced, I would say. All right, so far everything's easy. Now if I just use the same beautiful M series bow that I just had on that smaller viola and play on my larger viola, it feels soft on the C string. It doesn't have that problem at all on that smaller viola. I can even play like double stops in forte and not bottom out. Which, for example, I cannot do with a wood bow. So on the wood bow, it collapses like, and all of this part I play on the stick, and you can easily see that or try that by yourself if you try the elasticity of the sticks, right? Well, this is already a pretty heavy viola body, but still, I think I did not play the viola when I was younger simply because I didn't have my bows, and I just felt awkward. You know, all the viola bows that I ever tried were feeling wrong. Well, anyway, so we were at the M bow and trying the M bow on the large viola here. And if I play double stops on that large viola, I also touch down on the strings. The smaller area, but I still do. And that was not fortissimo, it was only forte. So, in fact, the M bow that works perfectly well with a smaller viola is not a good match, or not at least a perfect match, to the larger viola. Now that's where the P bows come in, and they are about 5 to 10% stiffer, more resilient. So we put a little more unidirectional fiber in them. So let's try the P bow on that larger viola, which is the instrument I prefer anyway. like a perfect match. So I don't bottom out. I can push the instrument as hard as I want and as much as the strings allow me to play, and I'm still feeling comfortable and not on the edge. And this means we have two different kinds of bows for smaller and larger violas. Now, in case you have a mid-size viola, like 16-inch, 41 centimeter viola with a 37 centimeter string length, you have the luxury of choosing. So it depends whether the instrument is more heavy build or lighter build, if it has a brighter or darker sound. So you can, and whether you prefer a somewhat more flexible or more rigid bow, and you should try then both the M and the P series and see which suits you better. And anyway, the bows are a little different one from the next. So one M5 could be a little better than the next M5, for example. So yeah, we have so in a way addressed this significant problem with the smaller and larger violas, and can provide you with a perfect bow for each of those. So depending on your taste, on the instrument you have, on the level of comfort you need, I think we can find a perfect solution for you. So thank you very much for listening today to my special preferred subject of viola bows today. And please, if you want, subscribe or send us some comment, share your videos or your experience with viola bows. I'd be very happy to hear about it and reply to it, promise. And come by on our ARCUS website or music website and check out our bows. Thank you.